Hello, everybody.
So, like I mentioned, our guest speaker today is Governor Schwarzenegger, and thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting the class. Thank you for supporting the Schwarzenegger Institute. We're going to start class with hearing from Governor Schwarzenegger, who's going to talk a little bit about packing and cracking and partisan gerrymandering.
Very nice. Well, thank you very much. It's great to be back here again. Today, the important thing that I want to talk about is just, first of all, that I want you to not just learn about this. That's one thing, to have the academic kind of knowledge and to learn about what gerrymandering is and what you can do about it and how we can change it and all this. But what do you do with this information and with this knowledge when you leave here? There's some people, as I said to you the first time when I was here, that just sit on the couch, they watch TV, and they complain. This sucks. Look at this, they don't solve the problem with the homelessness. This is bad. Why do Democrats and Republicans not get along? Why are they fighting even about the impeachment process? Or why can't we have a better transportation system in town? And on and on and on. They complain. But the question really is, how do you use this information now and other information, because you're going to take more classes than this, and then use that to your advantage? That's really what it is about. How do you use it to make a difference? Are you going to be the guy that sits on the couch and just complains, or are you going to go and say, well, I learned what I can do about it, and then you go out and do something about it? So you can become the action hero. You don't have to do a movie called Action Hero or anything like this. You can be an action hero, and there's a lot of action heroes out there. I've seen it firsthand. I told you about the woman that started in Michigan. She just was upset one day, and she said, I'm going to do something about it. And she created a council and the commission and started, passing, redistricting reform in Michigan. There was just one woman, and then she, of course, got the help, and a lot of help and a lot of money. She raised a lot of money, and she then did something about it. Oh, I also told you about, the two students from USC here that took one of our classes where there was a competition of who is going to really make a difference out there. The two students that won that competition went to the city council in LA and convinced them that, painting murals is not like painting graffiti, because they just passed a law and said there should be no more painting of murals, because we don't want to have graffiti all over the town. And they got a little bit confused of what the difference is between graffiti and murals. And they convinced the city council by doing a lot of research and a lot of work after 1 year to change that. And now you can see murals again all over town, and the beautiful murals. You have one of the beautiful murals?
It's coming up right here.
That when I ride the bike, look at this. When I ride the bike down to Venice, that's what I see every day. Is there another mural? There's a hotel that I go to sometimes, and I look up there one day, and I see then this. So this is the kind of things that we now can see. But anyway, all jokes aside, the bottom line is that now they're not confused anymore. But this is the kind of impact that you can make by just going out and doing something about it. And there's just something that I want to add. Whenever you go out and try to do something that most people feel hard to do, you can imagine when we did gerrymandering, when we fought gerrymandering in California, that has been around for 200 years. And then all of a sudden we come in and say we want to get rid of that. How many people said, you're crazy. That's never going to happen. And then, of course, gerrymandering, the fighting gerrymandering, the initiative lost. One time, it lost 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. And the press asked me when I was governor, don't you get the message that people are not interested in getting rid of gerrymandering? It's never going to happen. People are never going to vote for it. And I said, no, I don't get that message. I said, I think we're just going to continue on and keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And sure enough, eventually then it won. And so what you will hear a lot of times is, no, it's impossible. it won't happen, and all of this kind of stuff. And you just have to ignore the naysayers. You just have to ignore the naysayers because anything and everything is possible. As Mandela said, that everything is always impossible until someone does it. Well, there's no reason why you shouldn't be the one that does it. I felt the same way. I said, why shouldn't I be the one that does it? And then when you do one state, then there's another state and another state, and then you get, it gains momentum. So this is what you need to do. You got to just understand that there will always be the naysayers that will drag you down and say it's impossible. But you got to fight that, and you just ignore the naysayers. And the other thing that is very important, that this is kind of more in the area of how you get things done in general in life, and it is that you have to have a very clear vision. If you don't have a very clear vision of what you want to do and what your goal is, then it's very hard to go out and do the work. Then you just drift around and you don't end up anywhere. But if you have a very clear vision and say, I want to go now and change the way they draw the district lines in my state, and you say, this is my vision and I'm going to turn this vision into reality, you will be able to turn that vision into reality. Maybe not from one year to the next, but you will be able to do it. Because you have a very clear vision, you know what to go after. The hard thing is always when you try to go after something and you don't know what it is. But when you have a very clear goal, I always say the very clear goal where I want to go in my life. If it is running for governor, or if it is becoming Mr. Universe, or making a movie, my movie career and all this stuff. But I mean, you have to have a very clear vision, no matter what it is. So there will be a lot of people out there that will try to fight you, trying to fight gerrymandering. That I can guarantee you, because I've seen it. Both parties hate when you get involved in this, because both parties are doing it. I gave you the examples the last time, when you talk about, places like North Carolina, where they have, Republicans control that state, and the Democrats have 47% of the votes, but they only get 23% of the seats. So, there's something terribly wrong. Or when you have Maryland, this is a democratically controlled state, and the Republicans have 35% of the votes and only get 12.5% of the seats. There's something terribly wrong. Or as the President Reagan experienced in the 80s, in 1984 to be exact, when he ran for president and he won easily. And the Republicans had 500,000 more votes. But somehow the Democrats ended up with 31 more seats. So he was, of course, very upset about that. And he called it anti-democratic and un-American. And so those are the things that we have to get rid of, how they fix the system. As a matter of fact, Noah has now put up some papers. And what this does is, what this represents is, we are assuming that there's, I want to just demonstrate to you the way they fix the system, the way they do the redistricting. This represents kind of 50 people, one of those papers, and as you can see, that 40% of the 50 people are Republicans and 60% are Democrats. So it's very clear that Democrats have the majority and the Republicans have the minority. Now here's how when they draw the district lines, what they can do. So here's one way of doing it. The idea is we want to divide it into 5 districts, the 50 people. Okay, so this is one way of doing it. Just go right down like this. There's 3, 4. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 districts. And as you can see, 2 of the districts are Republicans and 3 of the districts are Democrats. So, Democrats have the majority, but the Republicans have 2 of the districts. Now there is the other way to go, and that is to go across, to divide it up. You see? Divide here. So here you have 5 districts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what do you see now? In each one of the districts, the Democrats have the majority. So that's fixing it. So what the Democrats here did was they said, screw the Republicans, they shouldn't even have 2 districts that they win. We win all of the districts. See here, they won each one of the districts because in each one of the districts they have the majority in each one of those districts. All right? Any questions about that? Good. Okay, now the Republicans come back totally pissed off and they say, well, we are not that dumb either. We are smart. We can fix something too. So they go ahead and they now try to figure out very technically how to manipulate and how to draw it so they get the majority. Let's go down here. Okay? Then let's come up here. Let's come over here. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. And let's come down here. Look what I just did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the Republicans have the majority, right? Well, that's one district. Let's do the same down here. Come up here, go over here. Here, I have the second district where the Republicans have the majority. 6 against 4, right? Yeah, everyone see that? But the idea is to have 3 so that we win, right, the Republicans? All right? So let's come over here. Let's go down here. Let's come over here, up here, here. Now, look what I have just done here. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I have 3 where the Republicans have the majority. Isn't that interesting, huh? And the Democrats, split this in half, they have now 2 districts. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and here's 9 over here. So they win 2 districts, and the Republicans win 3 districts, so they're the winners. So that's how you fix the drawing of the district lines in your favor. You see what I'm saying? And that's the way they have done it in Maryland. That's how they've done it in North Carolina. They've done it all over the United States. So this is what we want to avoid. We want them to draw the district lines the way it is here. To be fair, when the Republicans have 40%, then give them 40% of the seats. If the Democrats have 60%, give them 60% of the seats. That's the way it should be divided up. That's the fair way of doing it. There's nothing that is better than having a system in place that works, like getting rid of gerrymandering, having open primaries, and finding ways of bringing people together and bringing them to the center. That's the key thing.